Welcome back to another episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show here on the Kokomo Post, partnered with Robert Miller and Son Furniture. My name is Drew Larison. This is MTM, also known as Mayor Tyler Moore. Mr. Mayor, how are you?
I'm great. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. I heard I was very missed.
You were
last
very
week.
missed.
And by that, I mean no one said anything to me. So feelings are hurt.
We gave him a shout out, didn't we?
Hey, I did. I did. I was actually watching the show live. Okay. I had a debacle because for some reason on my phone that I was watching, I was logged in under the Kokomo Post account and I couldn't figure out how to comment as my own on my phone. So that's why I had some great comments. I actually had some good questions. I couldn't type them in because I didn't.
So did you submit them after the show so they could be addressed in today's?
No, I'm not that smart.
Because if you do have those and you're catching us on the rebroadcast, you are always welcome to email me, producer Aaron at thekokomopost.com.
It's true.
Perfect.
Great question. Great point. So was in Nashville last week. I heard you said maybe I'll come back with great ideas for the city.
Yeah.
I don't have any ideas for the city. That wasn't the mindset I was in while I was there. However, great town, great city.
Yes.
That was fun.
Been down there a few times.
A lot of country music there.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was there on a business trip type of thing. So, yeah, it's good. I'm back. I missed my family. I actually surprised them. They thought I was coming home on Friday, and little did I know I had the wrong dates. The conference was actually over on Thursday.
Surprise.
Well, technically Wednesday.
Surprise.
So we came back Thursday morning, and instead of just telling them that, I kept it a secret, and then I showed up and surprised everybody. So it was
perfect.
It was out of a movie.
Yeah, I was working from home, and the dog went nuts. And we have a really sweet dog, and she but if there's a mail carrier, I'm so sorry to the United States Postal Service because she is
evil,
vicious. She sounds so crazy. And
she sounds vicious. I think if they actually came in contact, she'd be too scared and she'd probably pee everywhere. But she has a very vicious bark.
Yeah. And so then she started on that, and then I think she realized it was you. She did the like Drew's home bark, and I was like,
that's a specific bark.
Yeah, totally. And I was like, what's going on?
Well, you would never have heard that because you're coming
that's
in.
True.
So
yeah, that's cool. I have a Drew bark.
But how stereotypical is that? I mean, you always laugh at cartoons and old movies and stuff that dogs attack mailmen. What is it with? I mean, is it because they're carrying a bag? Is it because they've got a
Well, we have
the same guy
attractive uniform on. I mean, what is it?
We do, but we have a really old because our house is 100 years old. So we have this mail slot that they have to come up to the porch and open the mail slot, and then it slides right in, into the house, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so every time she tries to take the envelopes and take them from him, it's something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is. My dog's a stereotype. I tell her all the time, quit being a stereotype, chases her tail. I'm like, stop, you're embarrassing your species. Quit being a stereotype of what you do.
I know.
But she is the Okay, yeah, so real quick, shout out to Robert Miller and Son Furniture. They are the partner for this show. So quick ad read from them. You have the opportunity to save big on your next purchase at Robert Miller and Son Furniture by using one of the following payment methods. The tax time savings event allows you to receive up to 20% off when you pay with credit or 12-month interest-free financing. Plus, you can get an additional 10% off when you're paying with cash or check for a total of 30% off. This offer is only valid through the end of March, so make sure to stop by and take advantage of these huge savings before they're gone. To learn more, you can call Robert Miller & Son at 765-450-7254 or visit the store at 1540 East Boulevard, Suite A in Kokomo, Indiana, United States, Indiana. I don't know why I put the full address in the ad.
Yeah,
I was curious about
You know where it's
too.
at. It's in the Kokomo Town Center, right by Taku. Shout out Taku. They had really good Taku on Friday night. It was good.
But then you went back to Indiana.
I did. Well, it's
Kokomo, Indiana,
they really
United
want you to
States,
know they're in
Indiana.
Indiana.
That is the location.
It's what they told me to say. I mean, this is totally not something I just did, Okay, let's get into the show. As always, tell me what's going on at City Hall.
Oh, man. Meetings still fast and furious with potential suppliers and developers that want in on the action. The battery plant excitement up northeast side of town. Also got folks that have been coming in, so lining up some tours of the sites and such. So, but along those lines, also laying some of the groundwork, if you will, for the soft landing marketing package, if you will, that we're partnering with not only the Alliance, but the Community Foundation as well to continue this cultural integration for Korean nationals that will be coming to get the folks of Kokomo and Howard County familiar with what can be expected cultural-wise and transition-wise, but also looking at the first response aspect of it as well. We've got an officer with the KPD that's of Korean descent that has kind of become our point contact that will assist us with training within the department for that. And then that'll spill over to first responders. But yeah, I mean, the first little Korean integration presentation that was hosted by IUK, bringing up Dr. Kim from Bloomington, their Korean director of Korean Studies at Bloomington, was very well received. People are still talking about it.
It was sold out, right?
It was sold out, yes, and there was probably a dozen execs from Star Plus Energy, which is the Stellantis Samsung SDI partnership, but those that were the majority that were there were from the Samsung partner of the JV, and we're very impressed with the presentation and thought that it was well done, and we're very excited and honored that there were so many people from the community, not only there present, but that also took advantage of the Zoom link that was made available. And that presentation is available on the Chamber of Commerce's website if folks want to view it or even review it if you were there in either aspect that evening. So a lot of stuff transitioning wise with that, but then also still getting things lined up as we transition into spring, anxiously awaiting for the asphalt plant to open to start getting some street projects done. And as we talked last week as well, part of that is going to include a handful of the alleyways on the north side of town that have been neglected for a number of years. So
tertiary.
No, even sub-tertiary, if you will, because tertiary is still
Tertiarian.
so
Quadiary. I don't know what's for.
I like the. What did you say? Tertiary. Something. So.
Yep.
So yeah. So the tertiary roads or streets. A few of those addressed, but even
Tertiarian. That's
tertiarian. There you go.
Yep.
That's a word.
So.
It is not.
Stuff.
So let's talk about this Korean presentation too, because this is it's a thing. What were you there?
I was there.
So tell us kind of like the highlights. I know they could go to it. Maybe we could find the link and put it in the chat of that Zoom where you can rewatch it. But it sounds kind of intense. Like here are some things to get used to Korean culture. What all was included in that, or what were some like main takeaways?
So the first part of it, and a good portion of it, was just a history on Korea, most specifically on South Korea, and the challenges that they faced back in the 50s and 60s with the wars and conflict then, and then where they have gone or have come since that time, from practically ruin up to being one of the world leaders in technology and workforce, and highlighted to some of the executives and the companies that are international leaders in their industries, and then went into a lot of what I guess cultural-wise, things that ways to interact and how to address, and things as simple as making sure that a lot of their names are intentionally with two syllables, and to never not to leave the two syllables or the second syllable out.
Okay.
Unless they offer that as a sign of endearment or whatever, but and that they're very very hands-on as well. They're very appreciative, very respectful. When you present gifts or even business cards with two hands, so there's just a lot of simple things that we take for granted here in America that we've got comfortable with, that they still hold in high esteem, or hold high in both respect and professionalism. And so And then a handful of questions as well at the end. But, I mean, that was the crux of it, mainly just giving a
social
quick
cues and cultures.
Yeah. The history background leading to their work, I mean, which again spoke to their work ethic. I mean, that they work, it's not uncommon to work 12, 16 hours a day in their culture and such. I mean, so there's that aspect of it as well. And, yeah, it was really neat.
Was there any conversation about, because obviously holding an event like this, it's a very intentional. Was there any idea of how many maybe people from Korea are going to be coming and living in Kokomo?
So initially there will be between, I believe, 300 and 500 that will come before the plant is officially open, just to help install the equipment that's coming. And then about the same number will end up working within the facility itself. I know there's chatter, sorry, on the street saying that those 1,400 jobs that are coming are going to be mainly filled by Korean nationals, and that's not true. Like I said, there could be between 300 to 500 Korean nationals that will be at the battery plant itself. This doesn't include the suppliers that will be coming.
Sure.
And so the additional workforce will come from Kokomo, Howard County, and the surrounding region to fill those spots. But yeah, that's probably again battery plant specific. Not to say how many there will be with the suppliers. So there could be anywhere from 500 to 600. Well, sorry, maybe between 300 and 600, depending on which suppliers come, or even their family members.
Sure. Yeah. And we do have a question about housing later.
Okay.
So that was, we'll get to that in a minute. And because that's a big topic of this conversation as well.
Concern, yeah.
So those announced 1,400 jobs, these 300 to 500 from Korea are included in that number, or that's a separate number?
No, that's included in that number.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So then roughly 1,100 to 900 new positions created. And that was where just the starting numbers, correct? And then how many, I keep calling them ripple effect businesses because that's just how I see it in my head, that this giant boulder of Samsung is being thrown into the pond of Kokomo. And so how many of those businesses are for sure coming? I did see an announcement, maybe we talked about it 2 weeks ago, I forget. How many of those businesses are for sure coming, they're building, it's a for sure thing?
There's one that's announced, and then there are upwards to 20 that are in discussions and
20
in the pipeline.
So in discussions, does that mean they're working with the city?
They're working with the city, with the alliance, and landowners.
Wow, 20. That's nuts.
Yeah. Now they won't all end. They won't all land here. Just basically because of land availability and such, but as well as housing needs, which again, the one question that we'll probably get to and address further. So yeah, there's a lot that comes into play, but yeah, it's going to be.
Do you have an estimation on? I know 20 are applying, but do you have an idea of how many will be here? Sure that will work. Not an estimation on that. Okay.
And if you guys are looking for that presentation, Heidi just dropped that link in the chat.
Nice. I will have to watch
thank you for that, Heidi.
Love that. Yeah. So, I mean, exciting things to happen. And I have all the high hopes in the world that the people of Kokomo will accept this into our community. I mean, it's kind of meant to be because Kokomo has been called K-Town before, and now we're getting Korea, to have come in here.
Look at that.
I love it. We're both K-Town.
I love it.
Love to see it.
Very cool.
It's a cool opportunity.
Yeah.
It really is neat. I'm looking forward to it. I love Korean barbecue.
Well, and again, going back to the presentation, just what an example of great partnership and great sort of forward thinking from people collaborating on there's change ahead, and so how do we navigate that well and with cultural respect? I thought that was very impressive.
Yeah. Okay. I did. How can we do this show with the mayor of Kokomo without talking about some Wildcats this weekend?
How about it?
They did win the regional for the second year in a row. They're heading to semi-states.
Times two.
Kokomo Post Sports was there this weekend. We covered that, and it was fun. Berry Bowl. Yeah.
I don't think there was an empty seat in the place.
There wasn't.
And easily 3/4, if not just over 3/4 of that entire gym was Kokomo fans.
Yeah, we packed it out
by that final game.
and it was fun. That was the first time I ever been to the Berry Bowl. Like I went to Northwestern and like we just never played there. So, but what a cool gym. It was really exciting. Yeah, I mean I spoke on it when it happened. The Anderson game, Kokomo at Anderson, also a packed game, and there were probably like 150 to 100 people standing the entire game. There were probably close to like 500 people standing the entire game at this place because it was just, especially in the upper part.
Oh yeah.
So I had they gave like a little table for us for the media section, and it was constantly, there were just like 30 people behind us because that's the only spot.
Yeah.
And like the people cracked me up too because they got there like 5 minutes before the game and they were complaining about no seats. I'm like, come on, what were you expecting? Like if you knew anything about this game, it was going to be nuts.
Well, didn't we hear reports that people were there at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon? That's wild.
So, a lot of Kokomo fans showed up for the first game, and just to get a good seat.
2 hours or 3 hours.
3 hours
before the first game.
It was crazy. So, so the IHSA has changed this a little bit. Back in the day, as in last year, the regional round was a 2-game where you played like an earlier game, and the winner of that went on to play the regional championship. They've swapped that with semi-state now. So regional was 1 game, and then they've actually also, I don't know, they're changing a lot of things. I haven't found out the reason yet, but they're changing also. It was a completely redraw for semi-state matchups.
Yeah,
so there's not like a bracket from start to finish.
Yeah.
So Kokomo is in a semi-state first round of semi-state. It will be at, what do we say, 11 a.m. Eastern time because they're playing in Michigan City, which is up right on the water pretty much. 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central.
Yeah, so everything's listed as 10 a.m. and 7:30 now as opposed to 7.
8. Yeah, so then if they win that first game, they'll move on to the championship semi-state game, which will be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And this is like 2 hours away. So Kokomo fans, maybe look for a hotel if you're not wanting to get home at 2 a.m. or something like that. But we are playing Fort Wayne. I know it kind of sounds silly, but Fort Wayne. So Fort Wayne's going to be much closer. So the same way, Kokomo is a lot closer to Logansport, which is why we probably had 75% of that arena. We really need people to show up in Michigan City because the Fort Wayne people are a lot closer than we are. And, geography is a big part of that in high school sports. So make sure to go out. I think on the Kokomo Athletics Twitter account, Dean Hockney's always doing a great job of keeping everybody informed. He is the Kokomo High School Sports Informational Director on Twitter. Tickets are available. They are 100% digital tickets. There are no purchasing tickets at the door, probably. Actually, in Logansport, they had a QR code on a stand right outside the ticket area where you could scan, buy on your phone, and then that's how you got in. So make sure to buy tickets. I could see this one selling out as well. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. Yeah, Kokomo, we're right back where we ended last year, and we're looking good.
Looking strong,
yeah. Fort Wayne North was a great team, and we won by I think like 13. Which shout out to Brady, by the way, who's our sports creator on staff. We were talking on the way up to Logansport, and I said, "What's your prediction for the game?" He said Kokomo by 15. He was 2 points off.
Wow.
A little psychic, that guy. Love it. But it should be fun. I would love to see, Kokomo be able to play in Indianapolis for a state championship. It could be a good time. Also going on here at the Kokomo Post, we have the Kokomo Post Pizza Throwdown, the 2023 Kokomo Post Pizza Throwdown. Of course, partnered with our buddies over at Grissom Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We are in the first round. It's official. I'm going to pull this up, actually. Let me see. Which voting ends when, Aaron?
Voting for round 1 is going to end tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m.
11:59.
Tuesday the 14th.
Okay, so I'm going to go through the matchups real quick. By the way, while I'm doing this, if you have any questions for the mayor, as always, just leave them in the chat below. We're going to get to the Lexi's Drink Bar and Ask the Mayor segment here in a minute. But I'm going to go through these matchups real quick. So we have number 1 seed. They went hard on the seeding round. Is Tank's Pizza going up? Newbies in the city. Ralphie's Pizza and Golf is a 16 seed. As of right now, Tanks is up 62 to 38%. So number 1 seed doing what number 1 seeds do. Next up, we have Pizza Co. as a number 2 seed, new downtown spot. Go check them out.
Yeah.
Against Ned's Corner Pub, which Ned's has been around for like a really long time in Kokomo. So it's Ooh, Ned's is up. So
Yeah,
number
not by
2 seed
much.
Pizza Co.
55.
is at 45%. Ned's Corner Pup is at 55% of the vote. So that's a big upset. 15 against the 2. How about it? Pizza Co. made it to Final Four last year too, I feel like.
think
Right?
so.
They did. They put up a heck of a fight last year.
I think they lost to Bruno's in the Final Four. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we have number 3 seeded Gabe's Pizza. Kokomo icon, been around for a really long time from
That
good
sausage.
family business. Up against Harvey Hinklemeyer's, actually was a Peru place originally, and then they came to Kokomo. So this is really close.
neck
We're
and
at
neck.
Harvey's is at 51%, 49% for Gabe's. So it's a 2% margin. That can go either way. Next up, we have number 4 seeded Kokomo Ale House against number 13 seeded Hideout Pizza, which Hideout was actually, you guys went and tried both of these last week, right?
Yep. We tried Hideout. We did Gabe's. We did basically the bottom 4.
Gotcha. The seed, yeah.
And then we ended up stopping at Oscar's too. So we had a lot of pizza.
Love that. Brady was there. He loved it too. Pizza guy. Another close one. Number 13 seed Hideout is up 52 to 48% on Kokomo Ale House. So another close one. This one, Circle Pizza, was a big shocker last year. What we nicely named them as the Greentown Mafia. They came out and they voted hard last year. They're at number 12 seed against number 5 seed Oscar's Pizza. And as of right now, Oscar's is up 62 to 38% over Circle Pizza, but never count that Greentown Mafia out. Heidi knows what I'm talking about. Greentown Mafia don't play.
No.
They don't play. All right, next matchup, we have number 6 Stoney's Sourdough Pizza Company against number 11 seeded Bruno's. Bruno's, once again, I think they were a pretty high seed last year, but they stuck around to the championship round. They lost to Fire Pizza in the championship round last year. So this year, let's see, Bruno's is ahead. So another upset. Number 11 seed Bruno's Pizza is up 55 to 45% against Stoney's. And then we got 2 more. We have Fire Pizza, who won last year. They are number 7 seed this year, up against Martino's Italian Villa, and Fire Pizza's up. Fire Pizza's up 60 to 40%, which is kind of a shocker. And this kind of, nothing against Fire Pizza, but like this kind of shocked me last year too, where like Martino's, Kokomo, staple, right? Been around
Cocoa
for forever.
famous.
Obviously, Kokomo has a larger population than Rocheville, where Fire Pizza is from. Rocheville Mafia, I guess we can call them. They're coming out hard. They're up 60 to 40%. And then the final one we have is number 8 Pizza King against number 9 seeded Country Palace. And the King is a king. He's up 83% to 17% right now. So Pizza King is going big right now. So as of right now, next round, if it was over right now, we'd have Tanks up against Harvey Hinklemeyer's. We would have Oscars up against Fire Pizza. Great matchup. Ooh. We would have Pizza King against Bruno's Pizza. Another classic Indiana matchup there. Love that. We would have Hideout is over Ale House, right? Yes. Hideout barely is beating Ale House, but we would have Hideout Pizza against Ned's Corner Pub. That would be the Elite 8 round so far. So we'll see. Keep voting at thecocopost.com/pizza. And if you guys were asking, since Route or Fire Pizza won last year, but then this year they're a 7 seed.
Yeah, great question.
Great question. There's logic to that question. However, what we do is we put out a post before the throwdown starts where we just say, hey, vote for your favorite pizza place, where we literally manually go through and view and count every single comment on that post. Whichever pizza place has the most votes gets the number 1 seed. So this year it just happened to be Tanks. So it really has nothing to do with last year's throwdown at all. Any surprises there?
Just like that. I was surprised Fire Pizza over Martino's, but then the next that Pizza King was killing over Country Palace. But again, I've never had
Country Palace. They're not known for pizza,
right?
You know, so I mean, it's fine. They got some votes enough to be in the throwdown. There's actually probably some places that were in the throwdown last year, but they're not this year. They just didn't get a lot of seeded votes, and that's what matters. So keep voting. thecocomopost.com/pizza. Like Aaron said, until midnight tomorrow night is when the first round is over, and then we'll update that graph, and we'll go from there.
Just a reminder: once per hour per IP address. So set a reminder on your phone. People here are really passionate about their pizza. I get that. That resonates deeply with me. The things I care about most are like family and pizza.
Imagine if she said pizza and family.
I didn't say it in like a particular order, but So set a reminder on your phone because people
And
really
once per matchup, or just once
per round. You can vote, yeah.
So
Yep.
you can only go in once an hour and pick one of the 16 right now.
No, you can vote all matches once.
Yes.
All match. Okay.
Yep.
All matches.
Yep.
Matchup
So if you've
once.
got one matchup that you were like, you know what, I really think Chuck E. Cheese pizza
we do
should
have
win.
that.
And you're very passionate about, you could just vote in one. You don't have to vote in all of them. But
Yeah, some people will not. I mean, guys, it takes 10 seconds, maybe.
yeah, and I think we'll be out with the team from Grissom later, maybe this week or into next week. We had a lot of fun with Jace. We got to drive
Yeah.
around with him, and he's from Rochester, so he's not from the Kokomo area. So
Very
he
good.
got to see Kokomo. He got to eat a lot of pizza.
Nice.
So I think he'll probably be back with us tasting more pizza sometime in the next couple weeks.
Tough job.
It's rough, man. Somebody's got to do it, though.
David Hunt, my guy who's been watching this show for a long time, he commented midnight on Pi Day. Tomorrow's
my
3/14.
goodness,
That's
that
brilliant.
was
I said, what a
absolutely
coincidence.
planned.
That's good. What a clever
Nice.
guy. I love that. Yeah, I guess midnight on Pi Day. All right, so that's going on. KokomoPost.com/pizza. I saw they put the link in the chat for that too. Awesome. All right, so let's get into the Lexi's Drink Barn Ask the Mayor segment. He is
Yes,
a mayor.
sir.
You have asked questions, so that's how this works. But shout out to Lexi's Drink Barn. They are Kokomo's #1 spot for a fountain drink. If you love a little bubbly, non-alcoholic bubbly, that is, on the afternoons, or some people start their morning with it, Lexi's is the place to go. They have the best Coke Zero with sugar-free vanilla. Order the Drew. It
Drew.
has been confirmed. They will know what you're talking about, which is
Also,
made
order
my
it,
life.
and if they don't know what you're talking about,
You yell at them and drive away. That's what you
nope,
should do.
that is not true.
No, you respond with, you must be new here.
You must be new.
And they haven't put it into their new employee orientation yet. That's probably what that is.
I'm going to really believe it's a thing when they have a button like on their
On the register.
That's my life. You realize this. I also have a specific salad I created at Oscars, and my life will be complete when I see like that on the menu. Like actually change a menu board and put it on there.
Yep,
It's a lifelong dream. I think it comes from when I was a kid. I was a really weird kid that used to watch Cheers all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I was always fascinated. No one ever ordered anything at Cheers. They just knew. Isn't that amazing? Norm didn't have to say, like, let me try that.
Right.
They
It was
just
just there.
knew. I want that, So I love it. That's my lifelong dream. All right, so let's get into it. We've got some questions today. If you have any questions, leave them in the chat below. Like I said, I'll be watching the chat as well as trying to, be in the conversation here, but I'll be watching, pull them over to my sheet, and we'll be good to go from there. The first question, love it. Forgot to write the person's name down, but it says, for the mayor, any updates on the urban influx project, right? Or more generally, the need for more single-family homes in the area. With all the exciting EV news, it seems like a demand will only increase. You and I have talked about this for
I mean, housing is a concern. And so I think they're talking specifically about the city's property infill program. That some of the vacant sites that the city has owned, either through blight elimination or just through commissioner sale, had identified areas in the city and then worked with a contractor to put things up. That program directly through the city with contractors has kind of been put on hold, really, because of the cost of materials. I mean, the cost of materials skyrocketed, and so some of the plans that we received, the costs for what was being proposed was too high or created too much of a gap with what the funding was required, so we kind of put that on hold. However, we have partnered with Bridges Outreach on three homes now, I believe, that kind of that same way. We've worked with them. They've taken it over, rehabbed the home, so it wasn't built from ground up. It was an existing structure that they renovated and turned over and made available for some of their Bridges alumni. So those that have graduated either from high school that are now working to continue to better their lives and are in situations where they're working now and such, they can work with Travis and the folks at Bridges to get a home. So that's kind of where the property infill program's going right now with that. But that individual is definitely correct. We have a huge shortage of not just single family homes, but multi-family homes, because a lot of, going back to the specific Korean nationals, they are encouraged not to own property in America because of the rotation. So some will be here, work for 2, maybe 3 years, and then rotate back to Korea and others in. And so there's the need for multifamily type of facilities for not just the Korean national workers, but workers in general that may have to commute during the day. Again, going back to their work hours, if they're working till the later hours of the day, just that commute, they don't want to have to drive half an hour or something to a surrounding area. So if we can have multifamily that is available here, so we're looking at that as well. And because of the workforce, a lot of that may come out as developments continue to come, may be labeled as affordable housing. Now, there's a terrible stigma attached to that term, affordable, because affordable housing just means housing that you and I can afford. It's not, people immediately think affordable housing is the subsidized, where there's vouchers and such, where the government type of housing, which is not what affordable housing is labeled as in the development world, especially now. So there will be some of that for the workforce that we're going to try and entice to live while they're working here.
Yeah, so we're so blessed with this opportunity in Kokomo with the Samsung factory. But you're right. And great question. I'm so sorry I forgot your name and didn't write it down. You win, because it's a great question.
Yeah.
We're already in I guess this is kind of a hyperbole, but housing crisis in Kokomo.
Well, throughout the state of the country. Wherever there's development, or even where there's, population migration and such. It's a challenge or a concern in communities throughout the state.
Yeah. I think last week, I was looking it up, and there were like 63 homes for sale in all of Howard County. And I remember a time not too long ago when I remember the number like 120 or 150, and realtors were freaking out then. Like 120, 150
that was such a shortage.
Yeah. That was a big concern. And now we're half of that. So, it's, I guess, a good problem to have. Could you tell us, I guess, are there certain plans, and you don't have to tell, obviously there's negotiations and things probably like that happening, but are there certain plans already in place? I know I've heard some rumors about some sort of like Arbor Homes type of neighborhood being built, or those multi-home properties that you're talking about. Where are we at with solving it? Are there, out of town developers similar to like a Flaherty and Collins that did the 306 Riverfront downtown? Are there people of that stature and nature coming in, or where are we at with like the solving of the problem with the housing crisis?
Yes, and yes. So yes, we are in conversation with developers that are interested in coming to the area and looking at large tracts of land to put complexes, whether it's a combination of multifamily as well as single family. There's one that represents a handful of group that would be, almost like potentially a complex type of thing, where there'd be multifamily, there'd be single family, there'd be the potential for a hotel. Yes, we have developers that are looking for land just as the suppliers are looking for land.
Who thought, man? Who would think, a year ago,
you just can't get
Kokomo was one thing we were blessed with was land. The city and the county is surrounded by land, that's been used for farming and things like that. But now, a year later, and this is what guys I talk about all the time, and it's such a great analogy to me, but it's the ripple of this. What a giant boulder is like when you throw it into a pond. Instantly, the ripple effect.
And with that land, that is a concern as well, because you're right. The farm ground in Howard County is very rich, is very fertile, and so having farming families give that up for development, there's concerns, on both sides of the argument or both sides of the situation, that you hate to see that, but you see the unintended consequences that there's that need. And so they'll hopefully we find a way to make it available to where both sides win.
And I guess my biggest concern, other than the obvious, like the numbers and stats we talked about with like 63 homes for sale, and like I said, I remember
Maybe
a time
50
where,
apartments for rent.
Yeah. My biggest concern for Kokomo as a citizen, in the past years, even in the Goodnight administration and probably before the Goodnight administration, a big emphasis has been put on there are a lot of people that work in Kokomo, but they choose to live and play somewhere else. And there's been a lot of things, millions of dollars have been spent to try to reverse that or to fix that. I referenced the 306 Riverfront. That was a big part in that. I remember they had giant billboard campaigns when that the apartment building was being developed to get people who are driving back that way.
You could already be home.
So that's my concern. I'm worried about, I don't want that to continue, so hopefully these projects will come to fruition and we can get people to work, live and play here, and not just spend 8 to 5 and then go home again.
Right. But fortunately or unfortunately, that's going to be the reality. I mean, with the number, not just with the battery plant, but with suppliers and other auxiliary type of businesses or retail and such. I mean, we are going to draw from the region, which the READY application through the state, the initiative, the first, and now with 2.0 on its way, there is going to be an emphasis because, again, with it being statewide, that READY 2.0 program is going to have a strong emphasis on housing and availability and the infrastructure for that. So they recognize it, and we'll see if we can capitalize on it.
Okay. Only time will tell. I will say though, what is it? 2025 was the year when it was supposed to be finished, correct?
Yes.
That's going to come quick, man. With all this stuff. Yeah. Especially I bet for you, that's right.
Too quick.
You know what I mean? Like all the conversations, all the development, all the big ideas, that 2025 is going to come real quick. And I'm here for it. All right. Next question is from Sue. Did you find the person's name, by the way?
I did not.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you were looking.
I was, but I could not find it.
Okay. Sue on Facebook has the next question. Is there any update on the plans to push the railroad to fix the track at Hoffer and Home Avenue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So part of that too, I mean, not as much interest on their part to spend the money, but there's an interest in pushing for permission for us to be allowed to do kind of the same what was done at Boulevard. Actually, the same that was done at the rail crossing along Center Road out towards the library out by Highland Springs and such. So yes, there is not much interest with the railroad to spend the money to do it, but interest in gaining their permission to address them. So we will, and that hopefully will also be part of the reconstruction of Hoffer Street that's planned. Obviously, a lot that's going to be just right at the Humane Society out to 931, but that'll be part of what we're looking at and hopefully do while we're down in there.
Love that. Okay. Next question comes from Nick on Facebook.
Great.
Nick wants to know, how's the trail progress coming along with it going to be warmer soon? So this isn't trail, but I did see the video of that KPD guy.
Oh, yeah, on the new pump track.
That's
Yeah,
cool,
the pump
right?
track designed for BMX style pump biking, but obviously we'll have a handful of skateboarders there as well. Again, with the idea of it being a pump track, I mean, we'll encourage skateboarders to kind of give the bikes the right of way since it's designed for that, but obviously will not deter the skateboarders from taking advantage of it as well. So that'll be good. And I don't know if Nick's talking about the Center Road Trail, so the trail from Dixon to Park on the south side of Center Road that'll cross over and then go on the north side of Center Road from Park out to Pine Valley or to Lucas Furniture, that area. That is coming along. It's been marked. We should be breaking ground on that this week. So there's barrels out there. It's been staked, and I know that folks will be excited to see that done to make it easier to get to Jackson Morrow.
Yeah.
Love that.
I do have the question came from Amelia.
Oh, thank you, Amelia.
Yes, directly to
Amelia.
us.
See, that's why I couldn't find it.
Yep.
Okay. Shout out, Amelia.
You're so
That's a
good.
great question. That's what she does.
Sorry, that took me a minute.
She rocks.
By the way, have you shown off the producer cam today?
Let's see.
We got the producer
See if she
cam
works.
again.
She's being a little finicky earlier.
There's Heidi too.
Hey.
Producer Heidi back there as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
We've missed that.
Perfect.
We
I know.
had that. We used to have it a long time ago.
Yep, I'm back. Heidi's
16 years ago, we used to have that. I feel
16 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you were at the Bobcats game on Sunday too.
I was at the Bobcats game, and you were at the Bobcats game.
I
on
was.
Sunday.
I will say, I hope the Bobcats know how much I love them, because I was half asleep at that game because we had an exhausting weekend with my kid and her swim meets. But yeah, it was fun. They woke me up.
Action-packed, man. Yeah, it is nonstop, man. I mean, just go and be prepared to, I guess, not only be entertained, but just hang on, because it is a fun ride, man.
Fun, man. And I was telling him before the show, I've watched more high school basketball in the last year of my life than probably since I was in high school. And I was not prepared for the difference. Like I thought high school ball was intense, especially with like 4A and watching a lot of Kokomo this year and getting the pleasure of watching Flory Badunga play in Kokomo. Holy moly.
These
I
guys
forgot
were on,
about the Bobcats. The
Yep.
TBL is no joke. If you love basketball, if you love really competitive basketball, if you're a Pacers fan and love going down to Indy to whatever it's called now, Bankers Light or Gainbridge
Oh,
Fieldhouse.
good call, Heidi.
That's a law you could make. Just people can't change the names that much on places like that.
It's still called Deer Park.
Deer Creek.
Deer
Sorry.
Creek.
Deer Park's
Easy.
I'm not from
It's
there, guys.
water. It's bottled water. Deer Park is.
Oh, Deer Park's a amusement park back where
Okay.
where I'm from.
Gotcha. Come check out the Bobcats.
Please
It's
do.
really fun, and there was a good crowd there on Sunday afternoon yesterday, and really fun. And they got the win. They've
Bree
started their
Bragg is
season
the voice of
3-1.
the Bobcats again.
Yeah, she's there. It's fine. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Bree is the MC. She plays all the fun games. I just found out that we're going to be doing a game every like halftime now. So that's kind of cool.
So fun.
It's the Kokomo Post something. We haven't came up with the name yet. I love alliteration. So sometimes I'm really stubborn about everything has to be alliteration. And then it makes it difficult. But go check them out. Kokomo Bobcats. It's so fun.
Another home game coming up
so fun.
Sunday, right?
Yep, the 19th.
Yep.
Oh, Becky, you got it right at the last second. We have a question from Becky in the chat. Oh, Bree's watching. Ouch. Okay.
Awkward.
The question from Becky in the chat. Is there anything happening with the mess at Combe Palace? Becky,
Yes.
that could mean a lot of things. I'm guessing you're meaning the street.
Just the traffic.
Okay, the traffic.
Yeah,
okay.
probably the traffic. Yeah,
We talked about that last year.
Yeah,
Like,
so the property owners beside each other, so the owners of Cone Palace and the property owners to the west are still working through negotiations for hopefully some expansion of the Cone Palace footprint to move the entrance and get traffic off a little further west and more people in the drive-through, kind of like other popular fast food places, but to get those off and do so, yes, there are plans in the work right now for clearing up that mess in front of Cone Palace.
Yeah, and I remember the conversation before we talked about there's not a lot the city can do because
Right, a lot
it is
of
private property owners, and
Yeah,
like,
there
they're
are
going to have to figure it
easements.
out.
We can't. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, a lot of it with that other street to the north. I always forget what empties out there, but anyway, it's availability.
It's like Arrow Point or Arrow. Isn't that what the name of that street is?
I always think it's Pipeline, and I'm always wrong.
No, Pipeline.
That's the
runs
other one. Yeah.
just north.
But yeah, Becky,
So, yes,
great question. It's similar kind of
been-
conversation when we're talking about shelters for the trolleys. It's difficult because
yeah.
those are, you have to put those on private property, so you have to get the property owner's approval, and yeah, I don't know. That's up to them.
Frontage. So yep. So yeah,
Great question, though.
They're working on it.
Yeah, that's been asked multiple times before, Becky. So you know it's a good one when it comes up often. Also, by the way, congratulations. We just had a whole show without the words potholes or sidewalks.
Centerline Road.
Center line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. What am I thinking? Arrow or something. Okay. Anyway, thanks for those questions. If you have any more questions and maybe you're watching this later, just leave them in the chat. We'll go back and look for them. Shout out to Erin for hosting last week and doing a great job.
Yeah, she
And
rocked it,
So
man.
much fun.
That was
It was
fun.
great.
We also put out a post every Monday asking for those questions too. So if you have them, write them down so you don't forget them, and we'll put them up on the
Throw 'em at
show.
us.
And then that one, also, once again, just thanks to Lexi's Drink Farm for being the partner for the Ask the Mayor segment. Mr. Mayor, do you have a dad joke for us today?
Sure, yeah, and just running into people at various games. I did run into somebody that had no idea that there was a battery plant coming to Kokomo.
That is, Oh,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I still,
Go ahead.
I wasn't trying to make a punchline.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's shocking.
That's shocking.
I was not intentional. I promise. I was just my literal
was a good-
response.
That was my alley oop. That was my.
That was your Shane Spear to Florida Badunga. Yeah.
Drew
Awesome.
Badunga.
Love it. Yeah, this is shocking.
Ooh, take it home.
Okay. Anyway, thanks for watching this show today. We'll see you soon, Kokomo.
See you, Kokomo.